Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. So this is last of the Persian eminent Persian scientists series, Omar Khayyam. After this, I will start talking about Turkish scientists. So his full name was Abu al-Fatah Omar ibn Ibrahim al-Khayyam. And commonly we know him as Omar Khayyam. And all we know that he was a very, very famous poet. And his rubaiyat are well known throughout the world. But it is a bit surprising also that he was a great scientist as well. Especially he was a great mathematician. I mean, these are two extremely opposite things, mathematics and poetry. But such things happen. And he also worked on astronomy and philosophy. His poetry, that is, rubaiyat, were translated by Edward Fitzgerald in 1859, and this translation made Omar Khayyam a worldwide famous poet. So now, but we are concerned with his scientific achievements. So as a mathematician, he is most not, one thing I should make clear, that my mathematics is very poor. It has been very poor throughout my life. So I was not able to understand much of this material. So I will just go through it. If you understand, it is very good. So as a mathematician, Khayyam is most notable for his work on the classification and solution of cubic equations, where he provided geometric solutions by the intersection of conics. And he seems to be the first to conceive a general theory of cubic equations and the first to geometrically solve every type of cubic equation, so far as positive roots are concerned. He was also the first to consider the three distinct cases of a cube, obtuse, and right angle for the summit angles of a Khayyam, Secheri, quadrilateral. But only one thing I can say that, look, how advanced these subjects were even in those days, 1000 years ago. His elaborate attempt to prove the parallel postulate was significant for the further development of geometry, as it clearly shows the possibility of non-Euclidean geometries. You know that Euclid, whom we call Euclides in Urdu, he is called the father of geometry. He was a Greek. And rightly he is called father of geometry. But here, Khayyam showed that geometry can be outside that range of Euclid. And he also contributed to the understanding of the parallel axiom. Now, this is a more familiar field for me. Omar Khayyam and his colleagues concluded their measurements of the length of the year, reporting it as 365.24219858,156 days. That is up to 11 decimal value. Can you imagine how accurate it was and how he calculated it? And this was about 1,000 years ago. Mind-boggling, really. I cannot have enough praise for this. And given that the length of the year is changing in the 6 decimal place over a person's lifetime, this is outstandingly accurate. As an astronomer, he calculated the duration of the solar year with remarkable precision and accuracy. We have already talked about it. And he also designed the Jalali calendar, which is a solar calendar, with a very precise 33-year intercalation cycle. That is a leap year. So it provided the basis for the Persian calendar, which was inaugurated on 15th March 1079 and is still in use after nearly 1,000 years in Iran. The Jalali calendar, this is which was created by Khayyam, is considered to be the most perfect calendar ever devised. And this is by scientific analysis. It is more accurate than the Gregorian calendar, that is the calendar which is used these days, we are using, which was invented in 1582 AD, with an error of one day accumulating over 5,000 years. I mean, there will be an error of one day in 5,000 years. Whereas in the current calendar, Gregorian calendar, this error appears after every 3,330 years. So obviously, Jalali calendar is better than this current calendar. Salient events of his life. He was born in Nishapur in Iran, and it was at that time the capital of Seljuk Empire. So he's usually, his name is written as Omar Khayyam, even in Persian text. So the reason for that, it is assumed that his forebears, I mean his father, etc., father, grandfather, they were following the trade of tent making because the word Khayyam means tent maker. So after studying science, philosophy, mathematics, and astronomy at Nishapur, he traveled to Bukhara, which was a center of education in those days in Iran, in 1016 AD, where he spent his time at the renowned library of Ark. Then in 1070, he moved to Samarkand, where he started to compose his famous treatise, book you can say, on algebra, under the patronage of Abu Tahir Abdul Rahman ibn Alq, who was the governor and chief judge of the city. Then King Shams al-Mulk Nasr, who, I mean, he was so respectful to him that according to Bihaqi, a contemporary person, he would show him the greatest honor, so much so that he would seat Umar beside him on his throne. So it was the greatest honor a king could give to anybody. So in 1074-75, he commissioned Omar Khayyam to set up an observatory in Isfahan and lead a group of scientists carrying out precise astronomical observations aimed at the revision of the Persian calendar. This work started in 1076 and was completed in 1079 AD. He died at the age of 83 in his hometown Nishapur on 4th December 1131 and is buried there in the mausoleum of Omar Khayyam. He wrote several books. The most famous is Risala fi Sarh Ma Askala min Musadarat Kitabe Kulidas, a commentary on the difficulties concerning the postulates of Euclid's elements. So already it has been mentioned in the text. Then Risala fi Kisma Rub al Daira, division of a quadrant of a circle, and Maqala fil Jabr wal Muqabala, on proofs for problems concerning algebra. Legacy. In June 2009, Iran donated a Persian Scholars Pavilion to the United Nations office in Vienna, and it included statues of all great Persian scientists. I have already mentioned Ibn Sina, Al-Biruni, Al-Razi, and it also has the statue of Omar Khayyam, and it is placed there in Vienna International Center. Then the title of the novel, The Moving Finger, written by Agatha Christie, one of the greatest English writers of all times. It was, and the book which this moving finger was published in 1942, and its title was inspired by a rubai of Omar Khayyam. Then Martin Luther King. You know, he was a very famous American revolutionist who fought for the rights of the black people. And he cited his rubaiyat in one of his speeches, Beyond Vietnam, A Time to Break Silence. Then French-Lebanese writer Amin Malouf based the first half of his historical fiction novel Samarkand on Khayyam's life and the creation of his rubaiyat. The lunar crater Umar Khayyam was named in his honor in 1970, and the minor planet which was discovered by a state astronomer Ludmila in 1980 was also named after him. So these are the references which are used for this vlog. And next, as I said in the beginning, that I will start talking about eminent Turk scientists. And first of them, this is written in Turkish, so it seems difficult, but we call it Shamsuddin. And these are the list of scientists I have already covered in this series. And these are the five other series which are in progress and those which are completed. And I will not repeat this, you know very well. Thank you very much for your attention. Allah Hafiz till the next vlog.